Welcome back to another Extra Ordi-Nerdy. This time we're discussing cosplay and crossplay, better known as how come you can have white people play any anime character they want, but you can't have a black Sailor Moon. I'm Chris-Rachael Oseland, here with my exciting host, part of the Punching the Walls of Reality podcast.
I'm Carlisle. You might know me from such podcasts as Straight Outta Austin.
And I'm Jay. You also might know me from Straight Outta Austin or Save File Corrupted.
And you might know me from Fanboy TV. But you should know all of us from the exciting world of Extra Ordi-Nerdy, the show you're watching right now. And so, cosplay and crossplay, this is kind of a problem.
Yeah, it really is. People seem to feel like they have ownership over what other people do. It's like, oh, a woman's dressing as a male character. That's wrong. We can't have that. It's really ridiculous. It's something that I think we should really address.
You know, the Black Sailor Moon one really comes to mind because there was a great XO Jane article not too long ago with a woman literally saying, I'm a black female cosplayer, and people have a problem with that. And she's right. They do. The one that gets me the most, Mystique is one of my favorite characters when I do, back when I was a little slimmer and doing some cosplay, one of my favorite to do. She's blue!
I was just going to bring that up.
Blue!
She's freaking blue!
And yet, no one had a problem with me. Like, the only problem with me was, like, you might be a little chunky for that costume. Gorgeous, slender,
another
black girl.
issue as well, but we'll
that's a separate issue. Gorgeous, slender black woman who's now blue! People are coming up like, I don't know if that's appropriate. Or just mocking her, like, 2 steps away, as though you can't hear.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like, not only is Mystique blue, but she can be any person she wants to. Like, it's not like
she can be an animal.
Centaur Mystique!
Can't she, though? I thought she can only turn into people.
I remember, I don't know if it's in the comics, but I remember in the X-Men animated series, greatest show ever, she turned into a cat, I believe, and in another episode she turned into a hawk.
Okay.
Or some kind of bird.
Using the Brian K. Vaughan Mystique miniseries mythology, which is what I use as my canon for Mystique, she can basically transform into any of the modifications that you would see on an actual mutant. So she can grow wings. I think they actually did make her angel wings functional at one point in time, and they did make her Nightcrawler adaptations functional as well, but she can't quite cross the line. I don't know why. I mean, if you can grow Nightcrawler's hands, and if you can, or the Vulcan signal, whatever, or you can have, Angel's completely ridiculous wings, because we'll just ignore the physics of that.
Well, the metal wings or the...
Well, that's a good point.
The feather ones?
Well,
either of them,
in the first X-Men movie, she turns into Wolverine, where Wolverine's fighting Wolverine, Mystique.
Yeah.
And he cuts her claws off, and she, screams in agony, but...
When she turns back, it's not like she's missing digits or anything.
Exactly.
She's got, half her hand cut off or something.
The point being, doesn't matter what race you are, you can play Mystique. And for that matter, you should also be able to play any anime character you want, or any other video game character you want. God, it comes up in video game characters so much. And the thing that really gets me is when you get into anime and again with the video game characters, like, if you're white, you can be any Asian you want, and no one considers that wrong.
Yeah, it's such a ridiculous double standard. And especially like you said with video games, it's like there are not that many ethnic characters to begin with in most video games, so it's like, okay, so you can't dress up as Shepard, for Mass Effect, which is funny with that since it's a created character and they can pretty much be anything. It's
you can be Asian or female or black,
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. But yeah, the whole thing is just really absurd.
So what do you think is inspiring some of that with people? Because I find it really bizarre that you would do anything to try and especially exclude women from getting into fandom, because I'm second-generation fandom. I grew up with this clarion call from the guys that I knew going, what do we have to do to get women involved? Seriously, I want a girlfriend that's into this. What do I do to get the ladies? And now that the ladies have said, well, let us dress up. And then we're there. We're totally with you. If we can just dress up all pretty, they're like, no. Did I tell her that? No.
I really want to comment on that. It's kind of more of an aside towards the people women that dress up in cosplay and get harassed. It's like you finally have women attending comic conventions in drones. There are so many women that were at the last Wizard World.
Oh yeah.
And you want to scare them off? It's absolutely ridiculous to me. It's I remember when I used to go to comic conventions when I was maybe, I don't know, 13, 14. there were like maybe a handful of women. Like now it's like they are as numerous as men, if not more.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you want to drive them away, you know?
Because all you guys out there that are saying things like, man, I wish I had a girlfriend who read comics, I wish I had a girlfriend who played video games, I wish I had a girlfriend who read, science fiction, that's where you find them!
Yeah.
They're the ladies in costume at a convention. And I would love it, speaking as a lady that dresses in costume and goes to convention, if a guy comes up to me who's in a costume and starts flirting, like, yeah? How you doing? Cosplay is the way to a lady's heart.
Well, I would say that the main...
I'm dead serious, dude. I'm dead serious about that.
Yeah, well, I did cosplay as Kick-Ass at last Wizard World.
And did you get any harassment for being a black kick-ass?
I didn't at Wizard, but I went downtown. But at the time that Wizard was going on, Halloween was also going on. And there were just like a few people where it's like I was walking around, there's like one or two other Kick-Ass who were like, hey, that's the black Kick-Ass or whatever. I was just like, can I not just be Kick-Ass?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, is there anything inherently like ethnic about Kick-Ass? I can understand if it's I don't know. Even like Captain America, it's like, okay, in the 40s, the symbol for America probably would not be a black guy. I can see that.
People would automatically think you're the Isaiah version, like the
or like Young Patriot.
The Tuskegee experiment Captain America that they had. There was one.
Was it really?
There was a black Captain America before they decided to experiment on the white Captain America, Steve Rogers, that we all know, and his name was Isaiah Bradley, I think. I believe that was his name.
So they really did run a Tuskegee experiment, Captain America.
Yeah. And it also goes back to Young Avengers, when they first started that by Alan Heinberg. The new, his name was Patriot. He was like the young Captain America, and he was a young black kid. And it turns out that his uncle was the first black. The first
because
actual
in comics, you can never have someone who isn't already related to an established character.
Exactly.
I'm amazed.
X-Men proved that, and then it started kind of.
I'm amazed they didn't try and make like Beast Nightcrawler's uncle somehow. Yeah.
I'm sure it's coming.
Well, I think the Nightcrawler's dead at the moment.
He's back.
Oh, is he? That might get me back into. He's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I can't remember which of the many X-Men it is, but yeah. It's
but the question is he depressing priest or is he happy-go-lucky swashbuckler?
I'm not sure. I haven't read it, but it's out there.
Because I'm not a fan of the depressing priest dude. I'm give me my 90s swashbuckling Nightcrawler. Anyway, sorry.
So back to the crossplay. I think most of the kind of, I don't know if it's hate or mostly I guess the controversy of it all kind of stems from from what I was reading online last night, and a lot of this stuff dates back to like 08, 09, 2010. And a lot of it was
when
like
dinosaurs roamed the air.
There was a few. There were like Christian cosplay forums, and a lot of these are like, I love it when chicks cosplay, but don't be a dude because I don't. It was basically just to make the argument very just like black and white, and just to boil it down. I don't want to be turned on by a chick dressed as a dude because it's hot. Like, I don't want to be turned on by the rule. Was it 63?
Yeah.
Rule 63 version. I don't want a chick dressing up as Goku and me be like, oh my god, Goku is so hot, because that's just weird.
I want that spirit bomb.
And it makes me question my moral fortitude. If there's anything that does that, I can't be a part of it.
Jesus
so what you're doing is wrong because I know that I can't control my sensibilities.
Yeah.
So do you think that ties into, like, I hate to say, but the racist aspect of why people like, oh no, you can't be a black version or Hispanic or a Middle Eastern version of some character that I like because I don't want to be turned on by those ladies?
It's possible. I mean,
because when you say it like that, it's like, oh no, we can't have any crossplay because I don't want to be turned on by the doctor.
Well, I mean, I think it's not even people that. Okay, well, I'm just gonna say it. I think it just comes down to Christian conservatives, is what it is.
Okay.
Because that's just from what the hate I've seen, and most racism and stuff like that. Like, you're never really gonna hear about a liberal racist, because liberals
exist, but
they exist.
But at least they're ashamed of it.
So yeah, you could easily say Christian conservative, and be like, okay, we'll probably find some racist dudes out there somewhere in the middle of Alabama or something like that, or 40 miles down the road from here.
We're in Texas, by the way.
We're in Texas.
No racism here, guys. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's Austin.
By the way, I'll walk you to your car for safety.
Yeah, all right.
The worst we got is
forearm guards.
It's really frustrating because growing up in science fiction fandom, like from when I was this high, my mom started taking me to conventions. It was awesome. And I always wanted there to be, like, I grew up in Oklahoma where you've got a large Native American population, also a large Muslim population because of the oil boom there. And there were, like, I would want to take my friends that I knew from school to conventions, like, no. And this is before Middle Easterners were associated with terrorism. At the time, it was more like, are you in Aladdin? That type of thing. But they just didn't feel that they would be welcome in that environment. And me, being someone who reflects moonlight, couldn't be like, no, it'll be fine.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah. Actually, I did that because I was really young and naive, and you don't know any better. And you're like, oh, but everybody's super welcoming to me. And then you bring somebody along, you're like, I'm a horrible human being. I'm so sorry I did this to you.
Like, I'm just going to wait in the corner.
Yeah. And I hate that. Like, I love fandom so much. It should be something that is more inclusive. Why do you think so many people are trying to make sure it stays like this all-white male bastion? Like, no ladies, no people that aren't as pale as me.
I think a lot of it has to do with people just being uncomfortable because it challenges what their perception is. Like what Jay was saying with the crossplay. You know, like they see, okay, one of her favorite cosplayers is Miss Sinister, and she does a really awesome Sagat cosplay.
Who hopefully will be interviewing this coming Monday.
Oh, awesome. Tune in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen live.
February 3rd.
But it's like she's really, like, it's really good cosplay, and she's really attractive, but it's like, but I'm attractive to a guy that's a chick, and it's just like, people feel really weird about it. And they
Does
don't
she
know.
actually play Mr. Sinister from the Marvel Comics?
She does that as well, yeah.
Well,
that's her favorite.
With a name like Miss Sinister.
Sinister, which is where she gets her name from. So
Yeah.
I guess there was a female version of Mr. Sinister at one
There
point.
can be if she wants to dress that way.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was one of her. That was, I think, one of her first cosplays. Was
Yeah.
Mr. Sinister. But yeah. But with that, it's like people. It's like they're feeling uncomfortable, so they're trying to project that as this is something wrong that you shouldn't do because they can't accept it. And I think with the race thing, it's like they try to. I think people try to mask it with, well, this is the way I see the character, and this is the way I want it. When in reality, it's just like them trying to justify them being racist. I think, and that's all it is. It's
Or
just
biased to some extent.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah. I mean. It's just ridiculous. It's like if you see like a really good cosplay, and I don't know, it's a black guy dressed up as Wolverine. If he does it well, he does it well.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. It's like, okay, I understand Wolverine's a white Canadian, but it's freaking cosplay. You're in a costume. Like, how important does that really? You know, how important is that really at the end of the day?
Yeah. You know, I hate to admit, I'd never even thought of a black Wolverine.
You know, it's funny because like, okay. You know, I mentioned I had cosplayed as Kick-Ass, but last year I was thinking, okay, well, let me see what options are available to me. Like, there's Nick Fury. I was gonna do Fury, Morpheus, and Blade. Cause
You could do Storm if you wanted to crossplay.
I could do that as well. Actually, I was thinking of Michonne from Walking Dead, but it wasn't until I read the blog of the black cosplayer that did I think it was Sailor Venus.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, you know, you don't have to limit yourself. Like, just because other people are going to be assholes about it, it's like you're still open to doing whatever you want.
And I hate to say, but like white people do that all the time. I've seen white storms, plenty of them. I've seen a couple of white bishops, like with the big M over their head. And you're like, are you supposed to be a really odd looking? Like you've got the dreadlocky thing going on. Are you trying to be Nate Summers? Like, no, I'm Bishop. Like, really? Because I can read off of the glow off of your skin. And I don't mean that in a mean way with it. It's just like, you have so many options. Why is that the one you're relating to? Which I guess ties back to things like, I feel like it also, if you're limiting people, it's supposed to be about the characters you relate to, about the things that like have an emotional resonance, and you're supposed to say, like, especially if you're a black woman, hope you like to fly and control the weather, or hope you like killing zombies with a katana these days, and those are your options. You like anything else? Find something else to enjoy.
Right.
Although those aren't bad choices.
They're not bad choices
There's
at
very
all.
limited choices.
Yeah.
That's very insightful. I was thinking that too. Because you'll see white people cosplay as Psylocke, and no one will say anything.
Yeah.
It's like, she's supposed to be Asian, but it's like, that's completely par for the course.
Yeah.
But if a black person did that, it's just like, oh my, you're not the real character. It's
Yeah.
like, or, oh yeah, this is the whole thing. It's like, sometimes if they're more accepting, it's like, well, you can be the black version of that character.
Yeah.
You can be the Asian version. It's like, why can't you just be that character?
Yeah.
You know, like, it doesn't matter.
And it gets especially bad, I feel, when you get out of just the black and white dichotomy. Like, Asians can kind of cosplay white people, and white people will cosplay anything. But heaven forbid you've got someone that like, did you see the Sikh Captain America?
Oh, no, I didn't see that one.
Oh, he's awesome. He, like, just wandered around New York with his Sikh help, like he did a really nice cosplay, but he had the actual Sikh turban on because it's part of his religion.
Yeah.
He's like, why can't I be Captain America? So he's got a beard and a turban.
Yeah.
But it's clearly a Captain America costume, and the reactions were split. I don't want to say evenly. The reactions that made it into the article I read were
mixed.
They were completely polar. It was either people like, good for you, dude, Captain America represents all of us, or what do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
And it was there was no one in between, like, I don't know, I expect Captain America to be beefier.
Yeah, right.
Do some push-ups, bro.
I know, and I mean, you get that when like white people are playing different characters when it comes to body types, like with the recent thing with Tom Hiddleston.
When he's rocking around in the Captain America suit.
Yeah, with people like, bulk it out a little bit, dude. I mean, you're kind of skinny.
That's him before the serum.
Well, I think even with males, it's there's like a little bit more of acceptance. Like, yeah, good for you, and you're rocking the turban and beard. But if it's a chick, it's got to be one of two things. Like, it's got to be either sexy and or accurate to an extent.
And no beard.
And no beard.
It's
got to be
I
sexy.
shaved for the show.
And they got to be rocking their boobs out, and their ass has to be stinking out. And if she dresses up as Psylocke, the purple hair's got to be perfect. Can't look like a busted wig. And the part on the leotard where it curves on her ass has to be just so perfectly, but just enough to where you get enough cheek hanging out to where it's tasteful.
Yeah.
And
honestly, that's why I don't cosplay as much. It's why I wear things like what I've got on now or my TARDIS dress, because as we age, we get bigger, some of us, and I just can't rock the really tiny things anymore.
Slows down a little bit.
Some of us might have desk jobs, things along those lines. I mean, being a food writer doesn't exactly contribute to a whole lot of being on the type of diet to maintain that figure.
That's right.
And I like being employed and like paying my rent more than I like starving myself in exercise. So, yeah. But anyway, it makes it really hard with ladies. That is, I think, the subject for another show, getting into whole fat acceptance. For this week, I'm really glad we had a chance to talk ever so briefly about basically race and why with the cosplay. We would love for you to comment things. We would love to hear from you in the comments. Try to keep it civilized. We will moderate these things. So if you're all just going to show up and say hate, unless you literally just write that down, that's fine. But anything more along those lines, we'll delete it because we're those type of people, or we'll ignore you.
Just be creative, guys.
Exactly.
Come on.
And have an intelligent discussion. We would really like to see people just really get into what you can do to improve it, what it is that people can... why shouldn't you dress up as something that's whatever inspires you? And maybe give us some links to some of your favorite crossplays that you've seen, whether it's gender or race. I would love to see tons and tons of photos in the YouTube comments of like, here's an awesome one, have you seen her yet? Or him yet?
Miss Sinister.
Ceremony. Check her out as well. She's got an awesome Sailor Pluto.
Oh, nice.
She's of African American descent.
Oh, the sailors. So, come back next time for more Extra Ordi-Nerdy.
Bye.